Hey there, fellow fans of Clash Royale. Thanks for stopping by for my episode. I beat John Cena. Okay, so the episode is more about Arena 4 strategy and facing higher level players as a level 6 on my Galadon gem account, but we will get to that battle at the end of this episode. In the meantime, you've got me facing that player there, level 7, as just a little level 6, not even a fully maxed out or nearly level 7 level 6. The card's not that well developed, and I'm definitely forced to play defense and just wait for my opportunities to turn a defensive counter into an offensive push, and that's pretty much consistently how I've been playing this account, and I think it's a good rule to live by even when facing players of the same level. Sit back and wait until you've countered a push and then put a little something together. Here it just doesn't work out. That higher level bomber annihilates my barbarians. Nobody else really gets through. The musketeer does get a few shots on the tower, and it's a start and actually an early lead going into the final 2 minutes of the battle. Now this works out well. The prince charges in and hits that knight right before he gets to the tower, then does double duty, goes in and takes out that musketeer. And now we're just hoping the prince will charge to the tower, and he does. Gets to the tower. That is massive damage. In fact, that tower almost out of the way, only 50 hit points left. And if you guys watched my Twitter recently, you saw this epic fireball. Get ready for it as he amasses a big push in a bad way right around this badly damaged tower. Here it goes. He drops archers, he drops a bomber, he drops goblins, and I throw one massive nuclear fireball, takes out the tower and almost every single unit in the area. One of the highest value fireballs right there, and that was a huge lead. At this point, I'm just sitting back, playing defense and trying to hold on to these towers for the remaining 1 minute of the battle. So usually that means trying to drag units in towards the middle like I did the knight right there with the goblins, getting it so they aren't going after your tower, and whenever possible, try to get that other tower involved in the defensive fire. Here the prince is going to head out from the defensive position, and I throw in the barbarians. Figure might as well. Sometimes you can cause your opponent to have to counter something like that, and that decreases what was coming on the right hand side. Could have been a big push. Instead, he drops the skeleton army, goblins, bomber, archers all over there, and I'm able to protect that right tower by sending in an offensive force down the left. And now we're down to the final 25 seconds. Looking pretty good. He's got no significant damage on this left lane tower, and it looks like that's where he's focused. So I'm just going to continue to defend. Sending in another prince works out. Prince targeting the knight, that works out. And sure enough, final seconds counting down. Check out the fireball as the skeletons group around the prince. This player just helpless, cannot get to the tower. Time runs out, and I grab the win over a higher level player, 1 crown to 0. Now up here at about 1200 trophies, I have been facing some level 8 players as well, and when you have a 2-level disparity like this, it is extremely difficult to overcome that. The cards are just such high level compared to what you have, and now I'm facing a hut spammer, and that is not good. All of those level 8 barbarians coming out of the barbarian hut back there, and now the goblin hut. Things aren't looking good. I try to push opposite lane. It's usually kind of a good idea to push opposite lane on a hut spammer. Bad arrows, Galadon. That was a big mistake, but nonetheless, we just about get that tower down early. So we forced him to really worry about that right lane tower. He's dropped the skeletons over there, the tombstone. Here comes the fireball, and my little underdeveloped fireball can't even take out already low on hit point structures back there. They continue to spawn more barbs and more goblins, and suddenly it's not looking good as I'm starting to get overwhelmed on the left-hand side along with that dragon, and that left tower, sure enough, is going to be history, and now I am forced to try to do what I can to take that right tower down in the next minute 45 or so. Now, this being a non-gemming account, I realize that I'm going to hit the wall. There's going to be a point where I just can't win any more battles. Most of the level 8 players are going to beat me. Every now and then I might be able to best a level 8. Here we're just trying to grab the tie for now. I just want to get this right tower down, and really even at this point I'm hoping only to play to a tie. I realize that there's probably no way I'm going to get ahead of him and win this 3-2 or even 2-1. So I'm just focused on trying to protect the king a little bit and continue that push down the right-hand side. And hopefully in the next minute, manage to take down that tower. Of course, my fireball is not going to get the job done, not at level 6 anyway. So it's going to take getting a unit to that tower, and that means getting that tombstone out of the way first. But luckily enough, this player is hut spamming on the right-hand side, and it pretty much justifies the fireball at this point. So here comes the fireball, half of the tower damage, and it damages the huts behind it. So it was good value. It made sense to use a fireball there. And now his Hog Rider moves in, can't get too much damage on the tower. I can't get my Hog Rider to his tower, but at least I know I can rotate around to the fireball. So I'm just trying to stem the tide of units. There goes the fireball. That ties the score with about 25 seconds remaining. And now it's just full-on blast defense, just trying to hold this swarm of units off with whatever I can for what I realize is going to be at least another minute or so to try to stop this, and he only needs about 1,200 more hit points, 1,100, 1,000. It's not looking good, but that high value arrow set right there worked out really well. He's getting bolder and bolder with his structures. They're getting closer and closer to the river. We go into overtime, and now he's got 4 structures working on me. The fireball, good value again there, grabs the barbarians as well, and that was critical. But what I wouldn't give for a Valkyrie right now. There he's squeezing in a Hog Rider. Gotta try to stop that Hog Rider again. The arrow's working out well. The Hog gets there, but we still have almost 700 hit points to keep us from doom. And again, he's on the move. Doesn't look good. Squeezing in the lower level 6 barbs in front of the tower, and that just barely got down in time to prevent that dragon from targeting and locking onto my tower. Now he's got 2 barb huts back there. I just have to survive 20 more seconds against yet another Hog Rider. But look at that Prince. Beautiful Prince right there. Came in, grabbed that Hog Rider, and that really was the clutch move. That Prince got in front of the Hog Rider, used the charge, got the Hog down, and now I'm able to hold him off. Thumbs up. I'm very happy with a tie against this level 8 player. But let's move on. Here it is. It is Galadon Gem against John Cena. That's got to be him, right? Spelled in all lowercase letters like that. Hey, who knows? You never know who is behind the game, who is on the other side. Are they 8? Are they 80? Are they John Cena or are they Joan Senorita? I don't know, but in any case, it's John Cena, and I'm playing John Cena, and he's level 8, and I'm level 6, and he's got all sorts of epic cards. He's got the Witch, he's got the Prince, he's got the full size and the mini P.E.K.K.A going for him. And from early on, once again, I'm really just hoping to stem the tide. Any very solid level 8 player, or should I say any player that is 2 levels above you, is going to have a huge advantage. And again, the key is just try to hold them off on defense and maybe, just maybe, put in a push at some point when you catch your opponent low on elixir. Now right here, I dropped the Giant mostly just to protect the tower in front of the Witch, the Valkyrie. That works out well. Those units are going to get stalled. Here comes the Goblin Barrel. I try to counter with the archers. It works out pretty well because the Goblin Barrel wasn't perfectly placed. An ideal deployment of a Goblin Barrel is going to be directly on the tower so that the goblins split around 3 different sides. My Giant gets into the tower, as do a few other units, and lots of damage going down. Suddenly, I'm very excited about damaging John Cena's left tower, almost down to 1,000 hit points early on. And I really generally don't worry too much about dragons. They are more of a tank than a DPS unit. The Musketeer gets in there, and now, perfectly timed, the Giant is going to plot ahead in front of the Musketeer along with goblins, but there is that giant full-size P.E.K.K.A. Definitely not a card I see often, but I did take the lead 1 crown to 0 because he went elixir starved, dropping that P.E.K.K.A. down the right lane. I'm trying to stall the P.E.K.K.A. out to prevent it from getting to the tower, and it works miraculously. Just the minions and the stabby goblins, or shank goblins as we call them sometimes, get the job done. Another Goblin Barrel comes in, countered. Fireball on the left-hand side had to do that. That mini P.E.K.K.A. and the Barb combo was definitely a tower-taking combination had I used the Fireball on the Goblin Barrel instead. So now going down to the final 30 seconds, and notice the amount of damage I've gotten on his King's Tower. Significant enough that that really means I could push down the left lane should I need to. Here comes another Goblin Barrel. This time I do use the Fireball, gets them out of the way, Giant moving forward, and although I'm not going to grab the 3, there's no way he's going to get to that left tower. I dropped the good game a few seconds early, and the final 10 seconds are going to count down as I am managing to take down John Cena! Or rather, a player who named himself John Cena. Obviously, John Cena would never name himself John Cena. He would name himself something else so people wouldn't recognize him. In any case, it's a win, 6 versus 8, and I am loving it. This deck right now working out really well at Arena 4. Thank you guys, as always, for sticking around, for subscribing, for hitting that thumbs up button, for interacting with me, leaving some comments down below, letting me know what you want to see from a future episode. In the meantime, have a fantastic rest of your day, and I hope to see you all back here again tomorrow for more full attacks.
Galadon, who's this John Cena? Why do you say his name so loud?